What is up, guys? It is your boy Scott from King Queen Cichlids bringing you a 50-second species spotlight. Yes, this bad boy behind me, that is called a Parachromis Dovii, aka the wolf cichlid, one of the largest and probably most aggressive cichlids out there in the world. I mean, he is nuts. They come from Central America and they need a large, well-filtered tank such as the one behind me. This tank behind me is 7 foot long, 260 gallons. I have him, his female, and a couple of catfish, and that is all that's in this tank. This is not a fish for the beginner. If you're just now getting into the hobby and you want to do large fish, start with an Oscar. That's what I would recommend. And after some time and after some experience, you can upgrade to this big boy when you have a tank that's going to fit him. Definitely hit King Queen Cichlids, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you real soon with another 50-second species spotlight. Peace! Talk about you today. You. Look how big you're getting. Jesus. What's up, guys? It is your boy Scott from King Queen Cichlids bringing you know the drill, another new video. Now today's video, we're going to talk about how freaking big does a Dovii really get? I'm starting to shake my head and try to understand what's going on, because this is a 7 foot long, 265 gallon tank. For all intents and purposes, I say it's 300. Okay, this is my bad boy right here behind me. My Dovii. I've taken a tape measure. He's about 18, 19 inches, give or take. It's hard for them to get a good measurement because they move all around. But the reason why, and if you guys have been following me for a long time, you know, when I downsized, I had to make a decision between my Jaguar cichlids, which is a Parachromis manawins, or my Dovii cichlid, which is the Parachromis Dovii or wolf cichlid. So I decided that I was obviously going to keep this 7 foot long tank. This is a once in a lifetime tank for me. I'm not going to ever be able to keep a tank of this size. Even if I move somewhere else, this is probably going to be the max that I'm going to be able to keep in a household. And especially because of the weight. I mean, everyone thinks about the size of it, but the weight of it, 1 gallon is 8.5 pounds. I think that's right, 1 gallon. So you imagine you have 300 gallons of water, driftwood, rocks. You got to have a support system underneath this tank to support all that weight. Not all houses, most houses don't have that support system, so you got to be really selective about what you get, what size tank you can realistically keep at home. This is the max for me. So because this is the largest tank I could get, and because I felt like the Jaguar cichlid that they get smaller than the Dovii, they max out around 18 to 20 inches for a large older male. You could probably keep the Jaguar cichlids successfully in a 180 to 200 gallon tank. The Dovii, which gets up into, and here we're going to start talking about this, I was told they get up to anywhere from 2 foot up to almost 3 foot long. This tank obviously would be better for the Dovii, and not a lot of people are going to have a tank this size, so I thought it would be better for me to rehome the Jaguars, easier for someone to keep them, and let me keep the Dovii, because, as I said, very small percentage of people are going to have tanks 7 foot long or longer. That's my plan. Now with that plan, I thought for sure that this would be this Dovii's forever tank. But I'm starting to scratch my head and wonder, is this really going to be big enough? Because this guy gets just bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm starting to wonder, oh my gosh, am I going to have to try to find a bigger tank? Do I have to make some sort of pond in the garage that's heated that I can take care of this fish? Am I going to have to call Rich from Ohio Rescue to come down and pick up this big boy? I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. Maybe after a while he maxes out at length and he just gets wider. We're going to see. But this guy's getting huge, and it made me think, what's in the record book? What's the largest Dovii ever captured? Pictures were taken, length, weight. what's the largest Dovii ever captured in the wild, and what is the largest Dovii ever kept in an aquarium? Well, I think I have some answers for you guys, so let's go take a look at it and see what you think. Come on! Alright guys, we are back. I am on my Levion all-in-one computer, and as with most things these days, when you don't know the answer to something, you Google it. So I have Googled what is the largest Dovii on record ever captured in the wild with photos. So this is called fishbase.com, and it says in 1999 there was a Dovii caught in Nicaragua that measured 26 inches and was 15 pounds. And then in 2008 there was another one that was 26 inches captured in the wild, 13 pounds. Now if you guys can see this photo, that Dovii actually looks a little bigger to me than 26 inches, unless the guys are really small. I don't know, but that's the information on file. When you Google the biggest Dovii ever captured on record, that's what comes up. So 26 inches seems to be on record the max right now. Now, if you guys know, one of my favorite YouTubers is Andy Woods. And I highly suggest, if you watch me, you need to be watching Andy Woods. The guy is fantastic. But someone that I don't talk enough about is Guaptoe Mel. Guaptoe Mel was the first real fish channel that I ever followed. The guy is a ACA alumni. He was one of the first ACA members, and I follow him religiously. Now, he doesn't put out videos like he used to, but he is the one person that has on record, on video, in an aquarium, one of the largest Dovii ever caught on film, ever kept in an aquarium. Now there was a guy, in fact there's an ACA award for him, Guy Joyner, who had a Dovii, large Dovii named Pablo, but there's no footage of Pablo in an aquarium. So I look to Guaptoe Mel and his fish, his Dovii, as proof of how large a Dovii can get. Now, Guaptoe Mel had a Dovii for close to 13 years, and as you can see in this information, I'm going to leave you a link and I'm going to give you a short portion of his video. He had one male that got up to 26 to 27 inches. Again, you're going to hear him say it's hard for him to tell because it's hard to gauge, because one of the things you don't want to do, and I've done this before and I've sworn never to do it again, I've seen other people, don't take your fish out simply to measure them. Why? Why is that, folks? You guys have been with my channel long enough. Why do we not take a fish out just to measure them? It's because we're going to destroy their slime coat, and their slime coat is their biggest defense mechanism they have against infections, bacteria, parasites, worms, etc. So I will not take my fish out to measure it. It just is not worth the risk at all. What I can do, and what I've been doing, is taking a tape measure up to my tank, getting the Dovii to come as close as possible and trying to gauge where he's at. So mine's about 18, 19 inches. Guaptoe Mel's, you're going to see the footage, are much bigger than mine. I mean, when he says they're 26 to 27 inches, I believe it. And not only that, but the Dovii has a knuckle hump on him that's growing. My guy hasn't gotten that yet. So my guy's much younger. I think his, like I said, his was like 13 years old when it finally passed away. My guy's probably around 5 or 6 years old. So lots of time left. As you guys know, Parachromis Dovii, if kept properly and fingers crossed nothing goes wrong, can live up to 20 plus years. 13 years for a Dovii is awesome. In aquarium, that's freaking awesome. So shout out to and kudos to Guaptoe Mel for doing that. But alright, I'm going to show you some pictures, some photos, just a couple of clips. I tried to reach out to Guaptoe Mel. I haven't heard back yet, but I don't think he's going to mind that I'm promoting his channel and showing a couple of snips of his Dovii that passed some years ago. So just want to show you the size of what these guys can get, and then ask you the question, Is my tank going to be good big enough? Because what you're going to find out in this video, in Guaptoe Mel's video, is that he kept a pair in a 600-gallon tank. All right, let's check it out.
A pair of Doviis in the 600-gallon.
In the 600-gallon tank, as you can see, there's about, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 fry with them. They're not too happy when I come by. This is a crazy pair of Doviis. I've never had them that were quite this crazy before. As you can see them follow me down the path. And now I'll come over here. You don't like me over here either. I'm going to go around my wife here. Okay. They are crazy fish. Protecting their fry. I've had to take all the other fish out of this tank or they would have been killed. Some of them were before I was able to get them all out. The male is about 20 inches long. The female is only maybe 6.
So that video was taken in June 1st, 2008. Now let's see how well he progressed.
Probably about 3 or 4 of those remainder in the tank. They're all in the 5-inch range or so, the fry. Of course, the male here you're looking at is much larger than that. He's probably 24, maybe even bigger than that these days. And there is the female along with him, and again, swimming by every so often you'll see one. I think there's 3 or 4 fry, or what were fry, 3 or 4 youthful individuals along with them at this point. I've been keeping Dovii since the mid-70s. That was the fish that I was really anxious to get as a young man. At those days, it was very, very difficult to get Dovii, or any large Central American cichlids for that matter. The first one I ever encountered was the late, great Guy Jordan's Pablo. Guy and I tape spawned back in the 70s along with several other folks. Back in the old days, that's how most ACA members talked with each other. I used to deal with Mike Sheridan. He used to talk about his big Trimac McAleer, and Bob Agel up in Norwich, New York, and again, most tapes with a guy every like 2-3 times a week. And I listened to him talking about Pablo many, many times back in the early to mid 70s, and just dying for the chance to get a Dovii, which of course in those days, like I said, that was virtually impossible to get. They didn't really become easy to get, I suppose, until maybe even the 80s or 90s. I've been keeping Doviis since I got my first male back in the mid-70s. This particular tank, which is a 600-gallon tank, I've actually had as many as 3 spawning pairs of Doviis all at the same time in this tank. It's down to just the 1 pair now. This guy just got too big and too dominant and too mean for all the other ones. I had to get rid of the other 2 pairs.
Alright guys, after this video, do me a favor, go to Guaptoe Mel's and hit that subscribe button and check out his library of videos. He has videos as old as 14 years old. This guy is old school. He knows his stuff. He came up through the ACA. As I said, he was one of the original members of the American Cichlid Association. A great guy. Definitely check him out, show his channel some love. Even though he's not going to be posting on a regular basis, his videos are worth the information that you'll get from them. They really are. I still watch them to this day. I still go to them when I have some questions about the size of a Dovii. Guess where I went? Guaptoe Mel. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video. As always, leave comments below if you have any questions. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed this, and hope to see you real soon. I am trying really hard to juggle this photography and fish videos, and I'm hoping I'm doing a good job. Hit that subscribe button, guys. I'm getting closer and closer to 10,000 subscribers, and I would love to get that by the end of this year. Talk to you soon. Get yourself a Dovii if you have the right tank. If you don't have the right size tank, the best you can get is 150, 180. Go with a Jaguar cichlid. It's a much better fit. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.